What if every attack against you was proof of your divine calling? Chosen ones, your life is sealed with unbreakable protection, and no darkness can prevail. Chosen ones, the battles you faced were never about breaking you. They were about proving your destiny. Today, we'll uncover 5 signs that reveal how God has fortified your life with unshakable protection. These insights will show you why even the top demon cannot touch you. Comment 77 to claim your divine authority right now. The first sign is, your higher frequency shields you from darkness. Have you ever walked through a storm and felt untouched? As if chaos surrounded you but never consumed you? It wasn't luck or coincidence. It was divine alignment working in your favor. Chosen ones, your energy vibrates at a frequency so high that darkness cannot reach it, let alone harm it. This isn't a theory. It's a spiritual truth, like Jesus walking untouched through an angry crowd. Luke 4 verse 30. You are protected by an unseen force that confounds the very forces trying to destroy you. Think back to those moments when people plotted against you, spreading lies, gossiping, or even openly attacking your character. They were relentless, hoping their schemes would break you. But what happened? You walked through it unscathed. Their words and actions fell flat. It wasn't because they stopped trying. It was because their plans couldn't penetrate the divine barrier surrounding you. Their schemes were rendered powerless the moment they encountered the light you carry. This light, this frequency, is not something you created, it's something bestowed upon you by God. Your connection to Him is the source of your resilience. They see your strength, but they can't comprehend it. That's why they grow frustrated, often lashing out even more aggressively. They mistake your protection for arrogance, your survival for defiance. But the truth is simpler and far more profound. God is fighting battles on your behalf, shielding you from harm in ways you can't always see but can always feel. Have you ever wondered why certain people seem so agitated just by your presence? It's not because of anything you've said or done. It's because your frequency exposes what they're trying to hide. Your energy disrupts the darkness they've grown comfortable in. They thrive on fear, manipulation, and deceit, but your light shines too brightly for them to operate in the shadows. This isn't just metaphorical. It's spiritual warfare. Remember, when Jesus walked through the crowd that wanted to harm him, he didn't fight or argue. He simply moved forward, untouched and unbothered. That's the power of divine alignment. You don't need to engage in petty battles or defend yourself against every attack. Your energy, your light, speaks for itself. And just like Jesus, you are called to walk forward, trusting that the protection around you is impenetrable. But let's get real for a moment. That doesn't mean the attacks don't sting at times. It doesn't mean the betrayals, the lies, or the rejection haven't left scars. You felt the weight of their hatred, their jealousy, their attempts to drag you down. Yet here you are, still standing, still shining. And that's what they hate the most, that you refuse to be diminished. Think about it. How many times have you faced situations that should have destroyed you? The heartbreaks, the betrayals, the failures. Any one of those could have been the end of you. And yet they weren't. You rose above it all, not because you're immune to pain, but because your spirit operates on a higher plane. That's the shield of your frequency. It doesn't just protect you, it transforms the very nature of the attacks against you. What was meant to harm you ends up strengthening you instead. They don't understand this, and frankly, they never will. Their intentions are rooted in envy, spite, and confusion. They can't comprehend why their best efforts to undermine you fail every time. To them, it feels like you're untouchable, invincible even. And you know what? You are. But it's not by your own power. It's by God's design. The more they try to harm you, the more their plans unravel. They speak ill of you, hoping to tarnish your reputation. But their lies only highlight your truth. They plot against you, thinking they'll expose your weaknesses. But all they do is reveal your strength. It's almost poetic. The harder they push, the brighter your light shines, blinding them in the process. Have you ever noticed how their attempts to drag you down often backfire? They lose credibility, relationships, even opportunities, while you continue to rise. This is divine justice in action. It's a reminder that no weapon formed against you shall prosper. Isaiah 54 verse 17. Your higher frequency doesn't just protect you, it also acts as a mirror, reflecting their intentions back onto them. The harm they wish upon you returns to them tenfold. But here's the thing, your frequency isn't just a shield, it's a calling. It's proof that you are set apart, chosen for a purpose greater than yourself. This protection isn't about making your life easier, it's about ensuring that you can fulfill your mission without being derailed by distractions. Every time you walk away from a situation that should have destroyed you, you're stepping closer to your destiny. And they can't stand it. Do you feel this truth in your life? Have you experienced the frustration of those who can't seem to touch you, no matter how hard they try? Comment untouchable if this resonates with your journey. Your survival isn't just survival, it's victory. Every battle you've faced, every storm you've weathered, is a testament to the divine alignment at work in your life. And that alignment is only going to grow stronger. But that's not all. The protection you experience now is just the beginning. As you step fully into your purpose, as you align more deeply with the divine plan for your life, this frequency will amplify. The light you carry will grow brighter, and the barriers around you will become even more impenetrable. The forces of darkness can't stand against it. Not now, not ever. So keep walking, chosen ones. Keep shining. Keep trusting that the protection around you is unbreakable, because it is. And remember, every time they try to harm you, they're only proving what you've known all along. You are untouchable. You are chosen, and your destiny is sealed. The second sign is, your light dismantles darkness. Chosen ones, let me ask you something. Have you ever entered a room and felt the atmosphere shift? Not just subtly, but in a way that everyone notices, even if they can't quite explain it. The energy grows tense, conversations pause, and eyes instinctively turn toward you. That's your God-given light at work, piercing through shadows and exposing what lies hidden. You don't need to say or do anything. Your presence alone speaks volumes. It reveals truths that darkness has worked so hard to conceal. And trust me, this is no accident. It's your divine purpose unfolding. From the beginning, your light was never meant to blend in. It was designed to stand out, to illuminate, and to disrupt. Think of Moses standing at the edge of the Red Sea, facing an impossible situation with an enemy pressing from behind. But the moment he acted in faith, the waters parted, clearing a path that seemed unimaginable. That's what your light does. It creates a way where there seems to be no way. But just like Moses, this divine ability doesn't come without resistance. The resistance you face is no coincidence. They feel it, even if they don't understand it. Darkness cannot coexist with light, and when your light enters a space, it forces shadows to retreat. People who thrive in deceit and manipulation grow uneasy around you because your light exposes what they desperately want to hide. That's why you've experienced hostility, jealousy, and outright sabotage from those who feel threatened by your presence. It's not personal, it's spiritual. Have you ever wondered why certain people seem to dislike you for no reason? Why they work so hard to discredit you, even when you've done nothing to provoke them? It's because your light doesn't just reveal their actions, it reveals their intentions. And for people who live in darkness, this is terrifying. They've built entire lives, relationships, and even careers on deception, and your mere presence challenges the very foundation of their existence. But let's be honest, it's not easy carrying this light. There have been moments when the resistance felt unbearable, when the attacks became so relentless that you questioned whether it was worth it. Why does shining your light come with so much pain? Why does walking in truth attract so much hatred? These are questions every chosen one has wrestled with. But here's the truth. Your light isn't just about you. It's about the people watching you, the ones who are silently inspired by your courage to stand against the darkness. Think about this. How many times have you faced betrayal, only to realize later that it wasn't about your failure but your growth? How many times have you been cast out, only to find that rejection was God's redirection? Every attack you've endured has been a testament to the power of your light. They wouldn't fight so hard to dim it if it weren't a threat to their plans. Remember, when Moses parted the Red Sea, it wasn't just for his own benefit. It was for the liberation of an entire nation. Your light works the same way. It's not just for you. It's for everyone watching, everyone walking behind you, and everyone struggling to find their way out of the shadows. Your light is a guide, a beacon that shows others what's possible when you walk in alignment with God's purpose. But here's where it gets real. Darkness doesn't give up easily. When it can't extinguish your light, it tries to distort it. It will use people, sometimes even those closest to you, to question your motives, to make you doubt your calling, and to convince you that your light is a burden rather than a gift. They'll call you arrogant, self-righteous, or overly critical, not because you've done anything wrong, but because your authenticity exposes their falsehoods. And yet, despite all this, your light remains. Have you noticed how, no matter what they throw at you, you continue to rise? That's not by accident. Your light is unstoppable because it's not fueled by human effort. It's fueled by divine purpose. The more they try to snuff it out, the brighter it shines. Every setback, every insult, and every betrayal becomes fuel for your fire. But that's not all. Your light doesn't just dismantle darkness. It transforms it. Think about how a single candle can brighten an entire room. Now imagine what your light, uniquely crafted and divinely empowered, can do. You're not just a disruptor. You're a healer. Your presence brings clarity, hope, and truth to those who've been wandering in the dark for far too long. Have you ever witnessed someone's life change after spending time with you? Have you seen people open their eyes to truths they once ignored, simply because you had the courage to speak or live yours? That's the ripple effect of your light. It's not always immediate, and it's not always visible, but it's always there, working quietly and powerfully in the background. And yet, this power comes with responsibility. Just as Moses had to trust God to part the sea, you have to trust Him to guide your steps. Your light isn't something you can control or manipulate. It's something you must steward. That means staying rooted in prayer, staying connected to God's word, and staying aligned with your divine purpose. It means resisting the temptation to dim your light just to make others comfortable. Have you ever felt the urge to shrink yourself, to hide your light because the resistance felt too strong? Maybe you've thought, if I could just blend in, life would be easier. But let me remind you, you weren't called to blend in. You were called to stand out. Your light is your assignment, and no amount of resistance can change that. Chosen ones, your light is unstoppable because it's ordained by God. It's a weapon against darkness, a shield against deceit, and a guide for those still trapped in the shadows. So the next time you feel the atmosphere shift when you enter a room, remember what's really happening. Your light is dismantling darkness, and no force on earth or beyond can stand against it. Have you seen this effect in your life? Comment, light bearer, if you've witnessed the power of your light to disrupt and transform. Let your testimony be a reminder to others that they're not alone in this journey. Your light is not just a gift. It's a responsibility, a calling, and a testament to the God who placed it within you. Keep shining, chosen ones. The world needs your light now more than ever. These challenges aren't random. They're preparing you for something extraordinary. But the hardest tests are yet to come, and they hold the greatest rewards. Are you ready to learn the ultimate signs? Your support keeps these powerful messages reaching those who need them most. Click the subscribe button and activate all notifications to stand with us in spreading this divine revelation. The third sign might surprise you. Demonic plans fail before they start. Have you ever noticed how schemes formed against you seem to lose momentum before they can cause real harm? The whispers of betrayal, the rumors meant to tarnish your reputation, the traps carefully laid to see you stumble. All of it falls apart before it can truly take hold. This isn't a coincidence. It's not luck, and it's certainly not because they didn't try hard enough. It's divine intervention in action. Chosen ones, you are protected by a covenant so powerful that no weapon formed against you can prosper. Think of Daniel in the lion's den, surrounded by what should have been certain death, yet untouched because God had already closed the mouths of the lions. Daniel 6 verse 22. That same divine protection covers you. They hate this about you. They plan, conspire, and invest their energy into your downfall, expecting to see you crushed under the weight of their schemes. They lie awake at night, plotting ways to undermine your progress, to make you question your purpose, to silence the light within you. But every single time, their plans crumble. Their traps ensnare only themselves, leaving them confused and frustrated as you continue to rise, unshaken and victorious. Let's get real. These attacks don't come from strangers alone. Often, they come from the people you least expect, the ones closest to you. Family members who harbor jealousy, co-workers who resent your success, even friends who can't handle your growth. They see your purpose, even if they won't admit it, and it terrifies them. It's easier for them to try to bring you down than to confront their own insecurities. They'll spread lies about you, manipulate others against you, and try to isolate you, thinking it will break you. But here's the truth. Their efforts are futile. Before their plans can take root, they're already dismantled by the divine hand over your life. Do you remember a time when you felt an attack coming but somehow it never fully landed? Maybe it was a betrayal that didn't break you, a setback that turned into a setup for your next breakthrough, or a door that closed only to redirect you to something greater. That's not chance. That's God stepping in, shielding you from harm before you even realized it was there. You've been surrounded by unseen battles, where forces beyond your comprehension have fought on your behalf. The enemy's weapons are rendered useless before they can even leave his hands. But let's be honest, it doesn't always feel this way in the moment. When you're in the middle of the storm, it can feel like everything is falling apart. The accusations hurt, the betrayal stings, and the isolation feels suffocating. You might wonder, God, where are you? Why is this happening to me? But then, as the dust settles, you see it. The hand of God working behind the scenes, turning what was meant for your harm into something extraordinary. Like Joseph, who was sold into slavery by his own brothers, you can look back and say, what you intended for evil, God intended for good. Genesis 50 verse 20. Your enemies, however, don't see it that way. To them, it's maddening. They've invested so much in your failure, only to watch you rise higher each time. Their hatred grows not because of anything you've done, but because of the divine protection they cannot penetrate. They feel powerless, and that's exactly what they are. Every plan they devise, every scheme they orchestrate, is doomed from the start. They may think they've won small battles, but the war was lost the moment God placed his hand on your life. And let's not forget, their failed plans are not just a reflection of their weakness, but a testament to your strength. You've endured things that would have destroyed others. The betrayal, the lies, the rejection. None of it has stopped you. Instead, it's refined you, making you stronger, wiser, and more resilient. Your ability to stand tall in the face of adversity is a constant reminder to them that their efforts are in vain. Think of Daniel, thrown into a den of lions by those who envied him. His enemies were so confident in their plan, certain that they had finally rid themselves of the threat he posed. But when morning came, Daniel emerged unharmed, while his accusers faced the very fate they had planned for him. That's the power of divine protection. It doesn't just shield you, it exposes and defeats those who come against you. Have you experienced this in your own life? A time when someone's plan to harm you backfired spectacularly? Maybe it was a coworker trying to sabotage your career, only for their lies to be exposed. Or a so-called friend spreading rumors, only to find their own reputation in question. These moments aren't coincidences. They're proof that you are protected by forces far greater than anything they can muster. But here's the twist. This protection doesn't mean you'll never face challenges. In fact, being chosen often means the attacks are more frequent and more intense. The enemy doesn't waste energy on those who aren't a threat. But the difference is, while others are consumed by their trials, you emerge stronger. Your trials are not meant to destroy you. They are meant to elevate you, to refine your character, and to prepare you for the next level of your purpose. So why do they keep trying? Why do they continue to conspire, knowing their plans will fail? It's because they can't accept the truth of who you are. Your light, your purpose, your divine protection. It all serves as a mirror, reflecting back their own inadequacies. They are desperate to prove that you're just like them, bound by the same limitations, but every time you rise, you shatter that illusion. And that's the real power of divine protection. It's not just about keeping you safe. It's about revealing the truth. It shows the world and your enemies that you are not alone, that your steps are ordered, and that your purpose is unstoppable. It's a constant reminder to them that no matter how hard they try, they cannot touch what God has blessed. Have you felt this protection in your own life? Have you watched plans against you crumble before they could even take shape? Comment "protected" if this resonates. Let your story serve as a testament to the power of God's covenant over your life. And remember, chosen ones, no matter what they do, their plans will always fail. You are protected, you are unstoppable, and your purpose is divinely sealed. The fourth sign often goes unnoticed. Angels actively guard your path. Chosen ones, have you ever wondered how you've survived situations that should have broken you? Times when danger was so close it seemed inevitable, yet somehow you walked away untouched? This is no coincidence. It's not luck, nor is it merely resilience. You are never alone. A heavenly army surrounds you, guiding your steps, shielding you from harm, and ensuring your destiny remains intact. Angels are actively guarding your path, fulfilling the divine promise spoken in Psalm 91 verse 11. For he will command his angels concerning you to guard you in all your ways. Think back to a moment when harm seemed certain. A car accident narrowly avoided, an illness that healed against all odds, or a betrayal that could have shattered you but instead became a stepping stone. How did you escape unscathed? That wasn't just strength or coincidence. It was angelic intervention, a force working in realms unseen to keep you on your God-ordained path. These are the signs of divine guardianship, but they often go unnoticed until you pause to reflect. They don't understand this about you. Those who have worked tirelessly to see you fail can't comprehend why their efforts are fruitless. They conspire, whispering lies, setting traps, and watching eagerly, expecting your downfall. But each time, their plans disintegrate before their eyes. It's maddening to them, and yet they refuse to acknowledge the truth. You are surrounded by forces they cannot touch. Your angels see their schemes before they even begin and intervene in ways that frustrate their every move. This protection doesn't mean you'll never face challenges. On the contrary, as a chosen one, your journey often feels like a battlefield. The enemy knows your potential, and he sends every obstacle he can muster to block your path. But what the enemy forgets is this: you are not fighting alone. For every battle you face, there is an army of angels standing guard, ensuring that no weapon formed against you will prosper. These heavenly beings are not passive observers. They are active participants in your victory, fighting battles on your behalf in ways you may never fully comprehend. Have you ever been in a situation where you felt inexplicably guided, as though something or someone was directing your steps? Maybe it was a sudden decision that kept you out of harm's way, or an inner voice that told you to wait, move, or speak at just the right time. These moments aren't accidents. They are the whispers of angels, fulfilling their divine assignment to protect you. Their intervention is often so seamless that it feels natural, but when you look back, you realize the magnitude of their presence. Consider the story of Peter in Acts 12, imprisoned and facing certain death. The chains were locked, the guards were stationed, and escape seemed impossible. Yet, in the dead of night, an angel appeared, breaking Peter's chains, leading him past the guards, and delivering him to freedom. Peter's release wasn't just a miraculous moment. It was a testament to the unseen forces working for those chosen by God. Like Peter, your path is guarded. Your destiny is sealed, and no earthly chain can hold you when divine intervention is at work. But this protection does more than just shield you, it confirms your purpose. If angels are assigned to guard your path, it means your path is significant. God doesn't waste his resources. The very fact that you have divine guardians watching over you is proof that your life carries a purpose so profound, so world-shaking, that it requires heavenly reinforcement. And this is why they are so relentless. Those who work against you sense your significance, even if they can't articulate it. They know your light disrupts their shadows, and it terrifies them. They will never admit it, but your survival frustrates them. They see the traps they've set for you, the gossip meant to destroy your reputation, the betrayal meant to break your spirit, the failures designed to make you give up, and they watch in confusion as you rise above it all. What they don't see is the angelic army dismantling their plans behind the scenes. They don't see the doors being shut to protect you or the opportunities being rerouted for your ultimate good. They only see the result: your resilience, your continued ascent, and your unwavering faith. Have you ever felt this protection in your life? A moment where you should have been overwhelmed, yet peace surrounded you like a shield? Maybe it was a time when you felt completely lost, but somehow a way was made clear. Or perhaps it was a season of silence, where nothing seemed to move forward, only for you to later realize that what felt like delay was actually divine protection. These moments are not random. They are the work of angels guarding your path, ensuring you reach your destiny. Only one sign remains, the most powerful of all. It's the unshakable proof of your divine authority and why no darkness can conquer you. Are you ready to embrace the full truth of your calling? The final sign is, your destiny is sealed by God's covenant. Chosen ones, there is a power in knowing that your purpose was written long before you ever took your first breath. Your existence isn't accidental, your trials aren't meaningless, and your destiny isn't up for negotiation. Like Esther, who rose from obscurity to become the savior of her people, for such a time as this, Esther 4 verse 14, you have been set apart for a divine mission that was sealed by God Himself. Nothing and no one can alter the trajectory of what has been ordained for your life. Have you ever felt like your life has been a constant battle, as if the forces of the world are trying to break you before you can fully rise? That's because they sense the magnitude of what lies within you. They've tried to label you, betray you, and wound you, hoping to make you believe you're powerless. They've plotted, schemed, and conspired, thinking they could derail the unstoppable. But what they fail to grasp is that their efforts are in vain. Your destiny isn't in their hands. It's sealed by a covenant that transcends their understanding. Think about it. Every failure, every betrayal, every hardship you've endured was a futile attempt to destroy a plan that cannot be destroyed. They laughed at your struggles, believing that they'd won. They ridiculed you when you fell, thinking you'd never rise again. They whispered lies behind your back, trying to tarnish your name. But each time you rose stronger, not because of your own strength alone, but because God's covenant over your life guaranteed it. Your survival is proof that what God has sealed, no one can unseal. Imagine Joseph, sold into slavery by his own brothers, imprisoned for a crime he didn't commit, and forgotten in a dungeon. To the world, it looked like his story was over. His brothers believed they had stripped him of his destiny. Potiphar's wife thought she had silenced him with her lies. Even Joseph himself may have doubted at times, wondering if God had abandoned him. But the covenant on Joseph's life was unshakable. What seemed like the end was merely the beginning. From the pit to the palace, Joseph rose, not because of luck or coincidence, but because his destiny had been sealed by God. And like Joseph, your trials are not signs of abandonment. They are proof of preparation. Each challenge you faced has been refining you, preparing you for the fulfillment of your purpose. They thought your pain would break you, but it only made you more resilient. They thought their rejection would isolate you, but it only pushed you closer to God. What they don't understand is that every time they come against you, they're unwittingly playing into God's plan for your elevation. But here's the truth that terrifies them the most. Your destiny doesn't just affect you. It impacts everyone around you. When you walk in your purpose, chains break, lives transform, and darkness trembles. This is why the attacks against you have been so relentless. They see your potential to change the world, to bring light where there is darkness, and they are desperate to stop you. But they are fighting a losing battle, because God's covenant over your life is an unbreakable promise. Have you noticed how every setback you've experienced ultimately worked out for your good? That's not a coincidence. It's divine orchestration. Romans 8 verse 28 reminds us that all things work together for good to them that love God, to them who are the called according to His purpose. The very things meant to destroy you have become stepping stones to your destiny. That relationship that broke your heart taught you how to love yourself. That job you lost opened the door to a greater opportunity. That betrayal you endured revealed the truth and cleared the path for authentic connections. They can't stand this about you. They can't understand how someone who has faced so much can continue to rise. They can't comprehend how their best-laid plans always seem to backfire. They can't fathom the resilience that comes from being chosen. And so, they grow more desperate, more hostile, and more determined. But what they don't realize is that every attempt to harm you only brings you closer to your destiny. Their opposition is like the wind against a flame. It only makes your fire burn brighter. But here's the deeper truth. What happens next is what will truly define your journey. What does this covenant mean for your future? How will you rise to meet the calling on your life? Watch the next video linked below to uncover the next steps in your divine mission. Chosen ones, your trials aren't just struggles. They're proof of your unbreakable protection and divine purpose. Subscribe and activate notifications to stay aligned with your calling. You were chosen to rise above darkness and shine as a beacon of hope.